Jay here from Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live in the studio, so do get involved in the chat and the comments. We're going to be talking about last night's game against Real Sociedad, a little bit of the sort of post-match stuff from there as well. And obviously, following the sad news about Queen Elizabeth dying, we're going to be looking at what's going to happen now with the fixtures. There are some meetings taking place, and there is talk of games being postponed, not just this weekend's games, potentially more games as well. There's some suggestions that there could be this 10-day mourning period, which could affect 2 rounds of fixtures. So we'll be getting into all that. So do get involved in the chat and the comments, because there's quite a lot of things there to discuss. We'll start off with last night's game. Wasn't the greatest. I'm not going to go into it too much. You've already had the post-match analysis from Joe and Maka and all them guys, so we don't need to sort of dissect it. We know that there was a very dodgy penalty that led to the Real Sociedad, or that gave Real Sociedad their goal. The ball hitting Lisandro Martinez on, I think it was on his hip, was it, or his leg, and then on his arm. Shouldn't have been a penalty, was given as a penalty. United losing 1-0, not much to cheer about there. There was one small bright spark, though, in that loss, and that was Charlie McNeil making his debut. Great to see him getting a game. Charlie McNeil, obviously, we know him well. We've spoken about him quite a lot on this channel, on the Academy review. Many times, absolute goal-scoring machine. Getting involved last night, came on sort of late on. Hopefully, and I think it will be the start of many appearances for Manchester United, and I think he's the type of player that, you know, the fans would love. A goal scorer. He's a Mancunian as well. I think he was at City when he's come over to Manchester United, so even better. Scored goals at all levels, and hopefully he can continue in that. Robbie Savage, who was on commentary duties last night, he spoke about him. He said, it's brilliant to see young Charlie McNeil making his debut for the first team. He scores lots of goals in the youth academy. He's a great lad, so I'm delighted for Charlie and his family that he's made his first team debut. I know exactly how his family will be feeling. They'll be so proud. Yes, I think there was, I think it was his brother tweeted last night actually saying just that. If I can find it, because I think I quote tweeted it. He said, "Yep." He just says the boy has finally done it. Proper buzzing for him. Proper proud brother moment. This. So yeah, in you know, a night that wasn't anything to share about really. That was one small thing. Great to see Charlie McNeil getting his debut. Great to see his family proud of him, and rightly so. And you know, he's the type of player that you look at United's striking options. We haven't got loads of options, have we? So who knows? Maybe he's going to get more appearances this season than we initially thought. Right, should we talk about the Premier League fixtures? In fact, let me just go into some of the comments there. Let's see what you guys are all saying. Ellie Spearman says, "Morning, Jay. Your opinion on the awful call last night?" I was at the game last night, and my eyesight isn't great. So when it happened, I just saw the penalty was given. I thought, okay, it must be a penalty. You know, not call it naivety. I thought the officials knew what they were doing, and then I saw later on when I left the ground, I didn't have a very good signal. I saw the replays of it, so it wasn't, you know, it hit his leg, and I think if it ricochets off another part of your body and hits your arm, that's by the rules of the law, that isn't a penalty. So it shouldn't have been, and you wonder why VAR didn't get involved, or why there wasn't a decision made there to reverse it, or to at least get the referee to have a look at it, or whatever. Really frustrating. United weren't great last night. Listen, it's not just about that penalty decision, because United didn't really turn up. I thought Christian Eriksen was our best player once he went off. There was nothing happening. Ronaldo didn't have one of his better games, and yeah, it felt a little bit disjointed, a lot of our play. So you can't just blame the penalty, because it's not like going forward we were great attacking wise or anything. But there's no denying, if you lose 1-0 to a dodgy penalty, then that's obviously played a part. So I'm not into this thing of, oh well, we should have won anyway, because you know there's also that point of, if it wasn't for the officials getting it wrong, then we would have had a much better chance. And also, if you're going into the last sort of 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever, and it's level, it changes the context of the game, doesn't it? It changes how you're feeling about it, changes everything, you know, because you know you're going for a last-minute winner or whatever, rather than just an equaliser. So, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. But listen, there's a lot of football left to play. It's good to see, like I said earlier, like Charlie McNeil getting on there, Casemiro making a start as well. Santa Notch says, Bad enough this season with the World Cup for postponing fixtures further. Yeah, I'm going to get into the fixtures in a minute. We've obviously got the World Cup in the middle of the season this season, in is it November, December. So that's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. That's why this could lead to, if we have these round of fixtures or possibly 2 round of fixtures postponed, it could lead to a bit of a backlog that obviously aren't going to have to be made up. You've got to play these games, and they're going to have to work out when they're going to do it. Solo is in the chat as well. Great to see Solo. Big up, Jay. VAR at it again, but it was poor performance by the team last night. Yeah, I think it's not, mutually exclusive, is it? You can say it was a bad performance and the ref and VAR or whatever got it wrong. Those two things can both be true. Red UK says Martin is showing why Maguire isn't up to it. It's weird, isn't it? Because I've seen sort of conflicting things about Maguire. I honestly didn't, I didn't think it was a great game by Maguire. I don't think he did that much wrong last night. But I think Martinez is playing much better, and you can make the argument he's a better player. Certainly gets everyone going. I just thought defensively were all right. I thought in the attack, midfield and attack, especially I keep labouring the point, but once Ericsson went off, just didn't quite happen as well, and it was disappointing because I looked at that team on paper and I thought we've got enough here to beat Real Sociedad. No disrespect, but it's not like we played a bunch of kids and resis. We played some experienced players, Maguire, Lindelof, Casemiro, Ronaldo. You don't get much more experience than that. You're looking at David De Gea. Look at that spine of your team. That's a massively experienced team, and then you've got other players who last season were playing. It's just, it's really frustrating. Josh Chambers says Glazes Out, great message. See the video as well doing the rounds on social media of the roof leaking I think in one of the concourses. Just shows where we're at with these owners. Don't let signings sort of, I don't think they are doing, but don't let signings confuse you or put you off the feelings towards the Glazers. We know there's so much wrong with Manchester United at the minute in terms of the infrastructure, the ground, the training facilities, and that all goes back to the Glazers. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again: the Glazers could sign 20 new players in the January transfer window and spend £1 billion on them, and it still won't change my attitude. They've got to go. We've had 17 years of mismanagement and just bleeding the club dry, and we're in a position now where you've got the roof leaking, the stadium's not fit for purpose, you've got a training ground that's gone from modern to vintage. You had Casey Stoney, the women's manager, left because there wasn't the right facilities for the women's team. If you're going to have a women's team representing Manchester United Football Club, they should have the best facilities possible. They shouldn't having to go to the toilet in a port cabin miles away or whatever it was. So, I just think it's easy for people to go, well, we've bought now Casemiro, we've bought Anthony, everything's rosy. It's not, and I think from what I gather on social media, from what I gather going to the games as well, and just from people I know, my own opinion, there is still a very strong Glazes out sentiment or anti-Glazers sentiment, and long may that continue, because I think the end game should always be getting rid of these owners, not being placated by any signings. And to be fair, I don't think it is. I don't think we have been. So we have a look at the Premier League fixtures then. What's going to happen here? So we're expecting a meeting, I think, later on this morning where there's going to be a discussion. Now, I'll just go through some of the updates. We've had an update here. This is in the Express. So it says, official guidance has now recommended sporting bodies to only postpone on the day of the state funeral. The statement reads, they are under no obligation to do so, and this is entirely at the discretion of individual organisations. If sporting fixtures or events are planned for the day of the state funeral, organisations may want to adjust the event timings so they do not clash with the timings of the funeral service and associated processions. As a mark of respect and in keeping with the tone of national mourning, organisers may wish to hold a period of silence and or play the national anthem at the start of events or sporting fixtures, and players may wish to wear black armbands. So they're saying that the state funeral there could be the only day that there's actual postponements. That it's it might not be this thing of when it's of having this 10 days of mourning, and cancelling games or postponing games, I should say, not cancelling them this weekend, but actually next week instead. The state funeral is expected to take place. Is it 10 days time? So what we're looking at here. Did he say the day of the Leeds game? Is it we could be looking at for the? Let me have a look there in the fixtures. Sorry. Does anyone know when the state funeral is? Is that on the what? Sorry. 18th. Thank you. Yes, the day of the Leeds game. So then obviously that would postpone that game because that's Sunday the 18th, and if the funeral's on the same day, then you can't. That's what the suggestion is now, that it could be that. We are going to get some clarification later on today, I think, on exactly what is happening now. There might be this thing. It looks like there's a thing of the government or the whoever saying they're not forcing the issue. They're not saying you have to postpone these games. They're leaving it in the hands of the Premier League. Now, there's always going to be some people that want to see the games postponed. There's always going to be more people that don't. Personally, I have no objection whatsoever. People wearing armbands in a national, or a minute silence. We had a minute silence at the game last night. It was observed where I was stood anyway. It seems to be observed pretty well. We saw armbands as well. I just feel that postponing games, in my opinion, for what it's worth, I don't think is the right way to go. This weekend, I think that you can still show your respects and show your appreciation for the Queen, and I know there's a lot of people that are upset, without postponing football matches. You postpone these football matches, and listen, I know football's an escapism, and in these tough times, a lot of people need that. There's that argument, which I get. There's also people that rely on the income for match days who are going to be sort of, without money, and again, in these tough times. So I just feel that, you can go ahead with these games and pay respects as well. It's not like, you can do one or the other. Henry Winters tweeted, I think he's replied to Jan Aga Fjortoff, and he's saying that some of the ongoing debate is about logistics and number of policing levels. Because that's another thing, because obviously with everything that's going on, with with what's happened, have we got the amount of police that you need to police all these games and all that other stuff as well. There's logistical questions that come into it. There's so many different facets to this, isn't there? There's the logistical questions about, have you got the police that you need? There's also the fact that some people could end up, I know people go, it shouldn't just be about money. I'm not talking about football clubs or, multi-millionaire footballers losing out on money, because they're not going to have it. I'm talking about people that maybe, casual workers, for example, who are relying on their income from this weekend, who might now not have that. Now, that could be someone's, the money they were going to pay the shopping with or buy the shopping with next week. So there's those considerations to take in, to think about as well. So it is difficult, isn't it? Because there's so many different arguments. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be left up to the Premier League. I think there's going to be a Premier League meeting later on today, so we should have some clarification on that as to whether the games go ahead. Because if they don't, if the games are postponed, if, for example, Manchester United's game against Crystal Palace is postponed, and then the game against Leeds is postponed as well, then that's 2 more games you've got to fit in. And also, you get into, then you're looking towards October, and in November, the World Cup starts, doesn't it? So is it mid-November or towards the end of November? No, it's mid-November, isn't it? So then you're going to have this situation where you might have all these fixtures to somehow manage, and that brings with you its own issues as well. Get involved in the comments, right? Get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think about the situation. Where do you think we stand? Do you think that it should be games postponed, or do you think that we need to sort of crack on? Because listen, I'm not going to get into all this. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I know some people will be like, they want to see postponements. Others like, just crack on with it. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys... Cam says, postpone on the day of the funeral is the best solution, in my opinion. We should just try getting on with things. MUFC OK says, think it's a policing issue in London, Jay. Yeah, obviously, it's the Palace game we've got, haven't we, this weekend. So that could be an issue there, because there might be, you might need police in London elsewhere or stuff like that. So that's another consideration that is being discussed as well. I think people saying what day is the day of the funeral. Some people saying it's the 18th. Some people say it's the 19th. Let's have a look here. Is it the 18th, the funeral? Yeah. I'm trying to find it. It just says 10 days. So can everyone have a little look there? Oh yeah, I think no. Is it not the 19th, the funeral? Yeah, I think it's. 19th. Yeah, so it's the 19th actually. So it's not the Leeds game. So it's the day before. So if that is the case, then you might be in a situation where the Leeds game actually goes ahead.
In the Express, it's saying it could be September the 18th or Monday.
All right, sorry, that's why we've got conflicting reports here. Thanks for that. Joe's just saying it in the Express. It's saying it could be either, because I just saw it on another website, My London, and it said the 19th, but actually it could be the 18th. So we'll find out anyway. I think at the moment we're just in a little bit of limbo. We're going to get some clarification later on today. As always, we'll keep you updated on that and let you know what is going on, so you know whether, especially as well, people might be making a trip, they might be booking hotels, all that sort of stuff. People do need to know. So we'll keep you posted. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the comments in the chat. Thanks to everyone who watched today. Obviously not a great result yesterday against Real Sociedad, although Charlie McNeil making his debut was a small glimmer of light in an otherwise pretty grim evening. And obviously the sad news about Queen Elizabeth II passing away. We're going to find out what's going to happen with the fixtures. And when we do know for definite, we'll let you know. So I've been Jay. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.